Hi guys, Iain Duncan Smith's lift doesn't go to the top floor. Now in this interview with Sky News, he claimed that China wants to flood the UK market with electric cars and perhaps switch off the batteries at a later date for some sinister reason. Complete and utter nonsense. He also called for jobs and industry to remain in the United Kingdom for economic reasons. But my dear friend Iain, there are a few problems with that. Have a listen.
So you're not with Damien Green saying that we shouldn't fry the planet. What about Priti Patel? She's called for the government to pause all net zero targets. Would you go that far on the other side?
I think we have to look at the 2030 target particularly because the problem with the 2030 target was plucked out of nowhere and just lobbed at the whole agenda in a way that didn't have any rationale. The fact is that we have to get our industry through this process of converting over to possibly even hydrogen, where we had a global lead on rather than electricity. But one way or the other, if you want to get them to clean emissions, you've got to do it in a way that still keeps our industry going in the UK. If we rush to this, what we risk right now is simply becoming even more dependent on China. China is ready to literally flood the market here with cheap electric cars. All their battery companies, which by the way are many, and they produce far more batteries than the whole of Europe put together, they are ready now to produce themselves as car companies. They're going to dump those on us. There's also issues around security, their ability to switch those batteries off. So we've got to do it in a way that makes sure that we both keep the security of our own industry and at the same time we reach a cleaner environment, but we do it in a way that we manage. Keep coming back to the fact again, we've got to try and keep the costs low, and they are spiraling right now, costing us a huge amount of money to make these conversions. And at the same time, we've got to keep jobs and industry going in the UK. So it's important for us to have another look at that 2030 target because it's pretty arbitrary. And Europe, for example, has moved the target back to 2035. America is back at 2035. We're rapidly becoming the only developed country in the world that's still clinging to an arbitrary target, which we probably won't make and which is going to destroy much of our industry.
I find it so fascinating that you have so many things to say about this. Fascinating on so many levels. First, that I thought Britain was leading the world. Now he's saying, no, we have to go slowly. Okay. So much for global Britain. But this concern he has for manufacturing, we need to go slowly, we need to take it easy, we shouldn't do anything rash because, we don't want to upset the apple cart. But when it came to Brexit, he didn't have any of these concerns, even though the experts were saying, leaving the European Union, leaving the single market will be a big problem for the UK. And people like Iain Duncan Smith, and I think he himself said, it won't be a problem. It'll be wonderful. Stop scaremongering. Everything will be fine. Now, when it comes to net zero, no, we have to go very slowly. We don't want to do anything rash. It could upset the economy. Now, and also the concern he has for manufacturing. He didn't have any, he hasn't any complaints about Margaret Thatcher when she was Prime Minister and how she crushed manufacturing in Britain, where a lot of the manufacturing has been outsourced to other countries. Doesn't have a problem with that. But now when it comes to net zero, we need to grow our manufacturing base. We need to protect our manufacturing base. When it came to Brexit, no. When it came to outsourcing, no. That wasn't a problem. But for some reason, he has a concern with net zero. And of course, the comment about China. So China is flooding the market with electric cars. We need to move more slowly. And they can switch off the batteries for some security reasons. Is it possible? Perhaps it's possible. But why would China do that? It would damage their industry. They want to sell cars. They make massive profits doing so. So if they're going to switch off their cars at some stage, then it's going to damage their industry. It doesn't make any sense from a capitalist point of view. None of this makes any sense. Because you have a Brexiteer saying we need to go slowly, we don't want to do anything rash, and we also need to protect manufacturing. But this is the same guy who supports putting up trade barriers between Britain and its nearest market. Now, if the UK isn't going to go down the road of net zero, then it's going to just stick with petrol and diesel cars. Now, I don't think that's the case, but certainly some people in the Conservative Party and on the right in media want to stick with petrol and diesel cars and don't want to go down the road of hybrids or electric vehicles, which would be, in a sense, turning Britain into the North Korea of Europe. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.